I'm Dave Palumbo, founder of Species Nutrition. I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work and are backed by science. From my earliest bodybuilding days, I believed in only putting the best in my body. And that lives on in the Species Nutrition line of products. We use only top-of-the-line formulations dosed for maximum results and the best flavoring systems available. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
When you're asleep, they're just getting started. John Romano, Dave Palumbo, After Hours.
Welcome back to After Hours. I am Dave Palumbo, and of course I'm joined as always by John Romano. And John, it's a beautiful summer day, and we're still all locked down.
But I mean,
it'll only be a month. Don't worry about it, guys. It's only a month. I said, ha 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 ha.
No, it's not a month. It's till November 4th. It's going to be gone November 4th.
No, that's what they told us originally, right?
Yeah,
it'll only be a month. Don't worry about it.
As soon as the election's over, the COVID's going to end immediately, same day. Just like with the riots, it ended.
There's been a lot of good, cool stuff coming out. I read a great article. I talked about it on the radio show. That melatonin, we all think of melatonin as being produced by the pineal gland in the brain, that helps signal day and light cycles in the body, does biorhythms, stuff like that. Well, evidently the mitochondria of all the cells produce melatonin, and they found that in COVID people, somehow the COVID virus inactivates the internal melatonin production in the mitochondria, and it makes you more susceptible to that cytokine storm, the immune system just going crazy and attacking everything because of all the free radicals. Evidently, inside the cell, melatonin is a ridiculously good antioxidant and neutralizes a lot of free radical production. So by the COVID virus inactivating the production of melatonin, it's actually allowing the cells to become more vulnerable to the immune system's cytokine storm. So it's pretty cool that you can take melatonin now, and they're showing that really helps. And it makes sense, because think about it: who is affected the worst by this virus? Elderly people. And as we get older, we lose the ability to produce melatonin. We all know that. That's why it's called one of these anti-aging drugs. So hormones, excuse me. So guys, go take your melatonin. John, take your melatonin.
Especially if you're going to go out and protest at night.
I wanted to ask you. Well, you can take Somalize. My Somalize product has melatonin.
That's true.
3 milligrams before bed. All right. I wanted to ask you a question though. I saw that Robby Robinson had done an interview with Generation Iron, talking about racism that he experienced in bodybuilding. I saw that Bob Ciccarillo and Sean Ray did something on their Digital Muscle channel about trying to like foo-foo Robby Robinson, so to speak. Like that he's just a troublemaker, and I kind of took offense to it. I got to be honest with you, because I've interviewed Robby before. And yeah, I know Robby is Robby, and he's an older man now. He's 74 years old, and he's probably you've gotten angrier and grumpier too. But here's a guy who came up in the 60s. He definitely was subject to racism. I know. I interviewed him. I mean, he came up in the South, the deep South. He couldn't even go to bodybuilding shows. If he was afraid if he won, he had to sneak out the back door. And so for them to dismiss what he's saying as being true, and I'm really kind of angry about the whole thing. I got to be honest with you. I think that here Sean Ray is, he's on a crusade, lately, exposing all the racism that he's seeing in the world, and I've had him even on the show, and he talked about it. And Robby's one of our Orion brothers here. I mean, whether you like the guy or not, he certainly experienced a lot more racism than the guys today do. That's for sure.
For sure. I mean, I don't see. I mean, I know the stories firsthand. You know, we interviewed them together at one point.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
One show, yeah. I mean, I remember that interview. You know, it seems to me almost hypocritical that Sean would be part of a conversation that's calling somebody else a troublemaker. So, you know, just for the fact that Robby is speaking his mind, it was, I think, as far as I know about Robby, and we discussed this before the show, he was talking more about getting paid. Right. It was the pay inequality,
right?
Not that he was being, you know, dismissed as an inferior because he was a black man.
Right.
It was, and you got to look at Robby's usefulness in promoting bodybuilding at the time. I mean, his physique was so amazing that Joe Weider used it as the bust statue. I mean, that's
Bob was trying to say, and the thing he was saying, well, you know, that pose is, everyone does that pose. Even Sean got a little uncomfortable. He's like, well, that is Robby's body.
Everybody, Joe Weider said it. Everybody knows that's Robby Robinson's body. That's the most commonly known fact.
Right.
In our industry. For Bob to discount that, I don't know. I don't know where Bob is headed with this, but it's certainly not positive. I mean, no. I'll give you that because you know, we need. Robby may be quirky, he may be old, he may be hard to understand. But Robby he's an elder statesman. He's an iron brother, like you just said. I mean, he's one of us. You don't diss him.
Why wouldn't Joe made so much money, okay, in his day and age, obviously. That statue like this with him posing, that was that bust that they made. They used it on that was like the logo on every Weider product.
His victory line. It was on his supplements.
Yeah, I mean, you would think after, maybe initially not, but once he started making a ridiculous amount of money from selling supplements, which he did, we know that for a fact, you think he would have thrown Robby some money, like, you know, extra money. You know what, Robby? You've been with me. I use your body. Here, I think that's where Robby felt like he was kind of like dissed in a sense. You know, he wasn't compensated for it, and I don't blame him. It's his body. It's not a pose. Like Lee Priest told me, I didn't know this, but when they were making the Incredible Hulk movie, they brought him in and they CGI'd him. They like took his body and they used it as the proportions and some of the, you know, the way the Hulk was going to look. They paid him handsomely for that, sure. And he went on. That's fine. But it wasn't Lee Priest, you know. It really wasn't Lee Priest's body. This is exactly Robby's body, you know, with Joe's head on it, you know. And they made a lot of money for it.
But you can't adequately discuss this conversation without being racist one way or another. So you can look at it as Robby not getting compensated for the use of his likeness,
right? And
that can be looked at as racist because Joe is taking advantage of him. And then the other racist element of it is that Joe Weider's acting like a Jewish businessman.
Yeah, I think that wasn't a racist thing. You're right. It was a business move.
So there's no way of discussing this without calling at least stereotypical aspects of it. But Robby has a point. That was his body, his image, his likeness, and Joe made a ton of freaking money off him. Right. And I mean, Joe was trying to get away with as much as he could get away with, and he did.
Right. If you take my picture, okay, if a photographer took my picture and sold it to Joe, and Joe used my body without my head, I would be able to sue him if they didn't pay me for that, because that's my body, right?
Sure. And Robby, you know, a lot of this is, you know, you talk about Lee Priest or any of these other, you know, modern day athletes that are getting, you know, used for likeness displays. These guys have contracts, you know, they're negotiated. I'm pretty sure you can't find a piece of paper anywhere in the Weider files that talks about the terms and conditions of the exploitation of Robby's physique to the benefit of Weider. I'm sure that doesn't exist. So Joe just, use Robby, right. You know. So
I'm surprised Bleckman didn't have Lee Priest's picture like this with his image on it.
He was trying to use your glutes.
He did have Pear do a little Photoshop job on that one picture. Oh, he does have that picture, Blackman, right? With that
yes,
one cross?
he does. The Superman photo.
Yeah, but that's actually Blackman's body that they just morphed, which is actually more acceptable in my mind than taking someone else's physique, and putting your head on it, right?
Nobody to sue but himself.
Yeah. Imagine if I did a cycle, John.
What a dilemma that must be for him. Like, you got a clear-cut lawsuit that he can't file.
Remember Blackman would say, "What? Imagine if I did a cycle."
Oh yeah, they used to call me Cro-Magnon.
You remember he thought if he would. I used to say, Steve, you should do a little cycle of gear, and he'd be like, imagine.
Can you imagine me on anabolics? But he would, you talk about Lee Priest being his favorite pet back in the day, and he definitely was. I mean, I'm sure he's fired off quite a few knuckle children to Lee's biceps, but he would ogle those shots of you doing the freaking lion leg curls. Glutes, it looks like a dinosaur. Hey, look at that. And then the next day, he's got that up on the light shade table again. Yeah, look at Palumbo's glutes. And he's like so like normal about it. I'm like, do you realize what you're talking about? Looking at another guy's ass, and he's my friend.
I'm uncomfortable with this conversation, John.
And you're like telling me, to sort of looking at his ass. I'm like, this is very uncomfortable.
I'm very uncomfortable with the conversation right now.
Talk about that.
You should be.
Look, I don't think that anyone in this day, not to change the subject, but to change the subject, I don't think anyone in this day and age really can understand what Robby went through, because he's one of the oldest guys still competing that still has a voice in the industry. And how many, great, black men were there back then that actually were stars, aside from Sergio Oliva,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sergio he was the myth. I mean, he was a freak of freaks. But I'm saying Robby grew up in a different type of situation. He grew up in a racist South. I mean, think about how much racism and how many times he heard the N-word. I mean, Sergio grew up in Cuba. I don't know what the situation in Cuba was like, but probably was not as bad as what Robby experienced in the South.
No, Cuba's, there's a lot. It's almost all black.
Yeah.
Cuba. It's a lot. I mean, I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, but I mean, there's a lot of dark-skinned Caribbean descendant, people in Cuba. I don't think he had that problem there, but see, Robby, it took a while in the genesis of modern bodybuilding for black athletes to realize their genetic potential in this endeavor and start to really focus on bodybuilding, because prior to that, they were focusing on football and baseball and sports like that. So it took a little while for blacks to get hip to the fact that, wow, bodybuilding is something we could, we could excel in, And then, I mean, look at how many the 16 years of Mr. Olympias were occupied by two black guys. Right. I mean, that's more reign than anybody else in the sport. So, you can pick nits with how many of them got magazine covers versus how many white guys got magazine covers, and
that's a marketing move, though, right? I mean, that's marketing. But you think that you would take your Mr. Olympia. I think Lee Haney was paid well, though, wasn't he?
Lee Haney was paid very well.
He didn't have a lot of covers, but that was a marketing thing.
For the time.
But I'm saying that was a like you could say, well, Lee Haney didn't have as many covers as the white bodybuilders, but that was just Joe doing statistical marketing. I mean,
right.
But Lee got paid, to represent the brand for many, many years. So I think by that, the 80s, the late 80s, mid-late 80s, I think there was a lot more equality at that point. But I think when Robby came up, and people don't realize, they're trying to equate Robby in the late 80s and 90s to Robby in the 60s. It's a different situation. Robby's talking about when he came up, when he was in the set. I mean, Robby was around during Pumping Iron. People don't realize,
Right.
So that's when he was experiencing the racism, and there was racism all over the country. I'm sure that I don't doubt that he experienced it. So for anyone to dismiss what Robby said as him being a troublemaker, I mean, you're basically saying, hey, I'm a racist to say that. That's what I believe. I mean, because you're not sympathetic to his plight.
Especially coming from the mouth of a noted troublemaker.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, is not Sean considered a troublemaker?
No, I don't think Sean said that. It came from Bob's mouth. But Sean was trying to, to try to keep the peace. I could tell he was uncomfortable with some of the stuff Bob was saying because obviously being a black man, I mean, I'm sure if he didn't experience it because he was a professional athlete, I'm sure his family members have experienced it. And he has said such on our TV show. So I think it's inappropriate to say, well, Robby won the Masters Olympia over Joe Weider's boy, Lou Ferrigno, and Joe's the godfather of his kids. Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. How much? Who is getting paid more money, Lou Ferrigno or Robby? For a contract.
They searched the mountaintops in Switzerland for Robby to come take that title away from Lou.
Joe didn't. Wayne D'Amelio did.
But Wayne did. Yeah, Wayne loves Robby.
I know.
Robby made a lot of money for Wayne. He treated him very well.
Right. So.
And you know what, Joe? I don't know how you want to phrase this, but Joe Weider never impressed me as a racist. He impressed me as an opportunist.
Yes.
He impressed me as a stereotypical model of what you'd find in a Jewish businessman, as we know from living in New York and growing up and exposed to that. But Joe Weider loved his athletes. Yeah. I mean, there's a great story Lee Haney tells about them being out to dinner in a restaurant, and Lee had trained legs earlier in the day, and Lee got up to use the restroom. Yeah. He took 2 steps, and both his quads started cramping up. Joe Weider jumps out of his chair in the middle of the restaurant, gets down on his knees, and starts rubbing Lee's quads. I mean, that's not something a racist does, That's
something Blackman would do.
Well, no, he'd do it from the back. But your glutes are causing your quads to tighten up. You got to release the glutes. That would be, but you got to. I read a study in Physiology Today. So
trigger points.
Glute trigger points for the releasing the quads. That's what. So Joe didn't do that. Joe was like legitimately.
But someone like Arnold was way too slick. I don't think you think if Joe ever said, "Hey Arnold, I'm going to use your chest and abs and arms on my bust," Arnold would have been like, "I want $1 million for that,"
You know what? Franco and Arnold were constantly trying to get over on Joe.
Oh, they were?
He told a couple of stories. He had one where they would record a cassette. Okay, so Arnold and Franco would record a cassette about training. Joe would pay him like $200 for it or whatever. And so they would send the cassettes in or bring them to Woodland Hills. And then so Franco or Arnold gets the idea, he goes, why don't we break these up? And they're like an hour long. Why don't we break them up into 20 minutes and send them 3 cassettes and get paid for 3 instead of 4?
That's good.
And Joe goes, "What are you kidding me? I'm not going to pay you 3 times." So that went back and forth all the time. They were constantly trying to take advantage of each other. And who could blame them? Right.
Some people are not natural businessmen negotiators, though, and those are the people that get taken advantage of because, if you're running a multi-million-dollar, operation, you're going to try to get over on as many people as possible. The guys that are too slick for you, like the Arnolds and the Jay Cutlers, you got to pay those guys if you want to play with them. And the guys that are suckers, you'll take advantage of. And I don't know if that's so, like you said, that's not racism. It's a business move. But I think that Robby was a victim of racism early on in his bodybuilding career. And it might have even been when he was in the IFBB as well initially, because there were probably shows that he could have won in the 70s that he probably should have beat, like guys like Franco and stuff like that, and they just weren't ready to do that, from a marketing perspective,
We can say probably and get away with it because it probably did happen. And the few stories I have heard from Wayne and other people back in the era, remember Rick Wayne? Do you remember Rick Wayne?
Yeah, I'm trying to get him on do an interview with me because he's still around.
He has some tremendous insight into this whole thing, and as a black man, it comes very powerfully from him because he was there back in the day.
He was the editor. I mean, he worked for Joe Weider, so he knew him probably better than everyone.
Yep. So there's certainly enough to be said about it, but I think Bob is. I mean, nothing personal, Bob, but I think you're way off You're way off the mark here.
Yeah.
Robby Robinson is not a troublemaker. Robby Robinson is standing up for a principle that is rooted in what is fair and what is right.
Right. He's just not eloquent about the way he goes about it.
He is not. Yeah. I mean, he is not eloquent. So
and that's why he's being dismissed as a troublemaker. You know,
Right.
because he's not eloquent, and that's not fair to him.
He needs a manager. He should have had a manager.
Yeah, you're right. PR guy.
If somebody like him had a manager, this would never have happened.
Yeah, you're right. Well, let's guys, let's take John, we're gonna take a commercial break. When we come back, the rest of the Whack Pack is gonna join us. Mr. G has some new announcements and maybe some new intros to do, and I want to talk about the logo contest because actually I have a submission someone gave me already, and we'll go from there. So guys, stay tuned. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
V-Rush Vapes, the world's first pre-workout vape.
I'm bored out of my fucking mind today, man.
Welcome back to After Hours. I'm Dave Palumbo, and if you knew what we just went through to get all these guys so that you can watch the Whack Pack on this commercial, I guess, return, you would not know what we went through. Jimmy the Bull, because our guys cannot call from, Gregg can. Gregg's great. Gregg calls from his house, even though he was missing in action last week, and I thought he had died, but he didn't, luckily. And Jimmy's got to be out in the park someplace. Mr. G is waving a flag at the beach.
That's him. He's one of the guys too. Oh wow. Yeah.
Now, Mr. G.
Yes.
What are you going to do? Are you going out surfing on that board?
No, right now I get pull.
You sure that microphone is gonna make it? And we're gonna be able to hear you, or no?
Am I going now?
Yeah, go. Let's see what you're gonna do.
Go.
Mr. G surfs at 60 years old. I think the lifeguard that was holding the phone dropped it.
Sand. Hey.
Sand.
How the hell's this microphone going to work in the water?
There he is.
Yeah. Oh, that's.
What do you got? A waterproof microphone, George? You selling those too?
Oh, Caroline.
He's going to be eaten by. Hey,
All right.
he's got to.
Mr. G's gonna go surf. Let's go watch this. I want to see him surf.
All right, here.
Yeah, me too.
All right, George, talk so that you pop up on the screen.
Like I'm just putting it here, thinking like that. That's gonna be perfect.
What's the lifeguard's name? Who's filming?
No, like you can do.
Hey.
You can. I'll be able to see you.
Oh, you.
Well, yeah. We're just not really allowed to have phones on the
I
stand.
get.
Yeah, it's good.
No.
No, it's all good.
All right, guys.
I got George's voice.
All right, George. George has got, keep that on there, Tyler. George has got an American flag, a surfboard. There's our lifeguard, camera woman.
That's not George talking. That's somebody else. I thought George's voice changed. I thought maybe.
No, that's our camera woman.
Jimmy, he's going to get eaten by a Democratic shark.
Yeah, that'd be
He's
something
got
to
the
see.
flag.
All right, Miss Lifeguard, can you speak a little bit so we can get you on pop up your camera view?
The lifeguard. It's the lifeguard.
Vietnam over
She's
here.
got to talk, otherwise we can't see her unless you can click on her, Tyler. Give me the 4 view. I want to at least see something that's going on.
There we go.
Oh, all right.
So we can talk over this. This is gonna take him half an hour.
Now you can talk. He's out in the water there. I see him in the waves there. He's pretty far off. It looks like Gregg is in the beach with him, doesn't it, with the camera view?
Yeah.
It looks like Gregg's wall looks like part of the beach or something like that. Unfortunately, we can't see Mr. G at all, like whatsoever. He's like the size of an ant right now.
He's fucking
He probably
crazy.
went under.
Can you zoom in, Miss Camerawoman, at all on his view?
I don't think you can zoom on Skype.
No? Oh, you can't
Probably
zoom in?
went on. He probably went under.
The shark got him already.
Dude, he's
I hope
actually
he wore
swimming
those
with.
little
Oh, I see him. I see him. The
Is he
flag
riding the wave?
Flag down.
Yeah. He's
Yeah, he
gonna have
took
the
the flag
flag.
down.
Where,
These are hardly
Greg,
100-foot waves,
when you was
John.
a kid,
It is.
Can they even?
Right there. He's walking side and he's coming back now.
Oh, we missed it.
He got rid of his
that
surfboard.
was a quick one.
What do you do with the flag, John?
I just wanted to tilt it. Yeah.
I thought he had a
Those
flag
little
with him when he went
blow-up
out
things
there.
on his arms.
He did have a flag. I don't know what he did with it.
That woman
it
has
fucking got eaten
No,
off. He
probably
probably
not.
had a
She probably
shark
thinks
eat
she's
it.
just videotaping.
Look, somebody's trying to steal his board now.
Yeah. I don't
Or
think
is
that
that
was
him
him.
out there to the left?
Dude, would you be shocked if he had Bobby, his brother Bobby, swimming out there with a fin on and shit, like a shark?
He would do
No,
that.
Those,
Bobby's
it
beat-
looks
Bobby's beat
it
me
looks like
today, Greg.
a wading pool he's in. There's no waves. What is he surfing? My bathtub has more waves in it than that.
Holy Christ!
I got the.
I got to show. So, John, this guy, one of our viewers, sent me a video
that's a
of
bad
doing an impression of Jimmy the Bull,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna play that video because
The
it's
weed whacker one?
the weed whacker. It's hysterical.
That's
Yeah.
priceless. You got to play that.
All
Play
right.
it now while Mr. G's
All right,
getting
we'll
out.
play it now.
can do.
All right.
Jimmy, this is for you.
We didn't even know if G's coming back.
Pay attention.
This is my Jimmy the Bull impression. You want your fucking weeds cut? You want you cocksucking motherfucker? You want your fucking weeds?
Oh my God, that's great.
He's getting a heart attack.
I thought it was longer than that.
That was priceless.
Oh god. I say, Dave, when you sent me that video, I was in a fucking bad mood. Right? When you sent me that video, I laughed for fucking an hour and a half watching that video.
Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy, that's you. Holy
The
Christ!
update on
was
Mr. G
hysterical.
is apparently Mr. G is beaten by a shark.
Yeah.
He's no longer in the picture.
I still think it's his brother Bobby swimming with a fin on out there.
He's
He probably
gone.
went too far.
Now, in the same light as that little gardener,
Probably a mouth.
Jimmy, that little clip that guy did to you. Well, I have a guy at my house right now who's basically has this machine. It's a Kubota. It eats trees. So I'm knocking down all these trees. It actually goes on top of the tree and mows the whole thing down and mulches it. You don't even.
I seen that shit.
So the guy's been doing great work at my house, but he ran into a little problem with the tree. I want to show you. The tree actually was so
I'll
big.
do all that work for you. Don't worry.
Can I talk here? The tree was so big that it actually took down the machine. So play the clip, Tyler.
Oh, yeah.
Play the first clip where it shows me like surveying the damage here.
What's this,
See,
your yard?
the tree. Yeah, the tree got caught in the machine and it tipped the whole machine over.
Holy shit.
Now this
That's
machine.
a roller chopper.
This machine is a monster. The way it mulches trees. So
That's too big a tree for that thing.
I know. Well, it really isn't. He just got caught. He didn't. I guess that little black thing. He didn't release it fast enough, and it just yanked the tree. The tree when it fell, I guess, knocked him over. Now you got to see how they picked this thing up. This guy is pretty impressive with this little Kubota that he's. I can't even believe that he was able to tip this thing over. He tips it over like it weighs like 3 pounds. Watch this.
Jimmy the Bull's getting a hard on right
Yeah.
Jimmy would have done that on his own.
Watch this. Watch this.
now. Jimmy just would have lifted it up. Fuck the Kubota.
That's right. That's what I said.
Yeah, Jimmy would've-
would've
would've
lifted that
pressed
shit
it.
on. Jimmy's bench pressed more than that.
They miraculously didn't kill my banana trees there. I don't know how they did. Pretty cool, right?
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So anyway, he said in all the years he's been doing it, he never tipped it over. I said, of course it had to be in my yard you tipped it over.
Man, I got the fucking shittiest fucking connection here.
Jimmy, that's what you should be doing.
No, Jimmy, you look good.
You should buy one of those Kubotas, Jimmy. You should come down to Florida. You should just mulch fucking people's trees.
Straight out.
Hey, Dave, Jimmy could knock that tree down with a weed whacker.
Probably could. That guy who did that video on Jimmy probably
Jimmy
could
don't
do the
need
same.
no fucking
Stop
machine like that. He'll use a weed whacker.
I gotta go somewhere else.
Jimmy will mulch that
He
shit
always
up
has
with
a
weed
problem.
whacker.
Jimmy, why? We can see you fine. You can't hear us?
Greg, we should send Jimmy with 2 machetes.
You know, John, our whack packers are getting a little
Hey,
too
John.
flippant because they think they're gonna go outside like in the garden and film, and then they got no internet connection. I don't know what they're thinking.
Hey, Jimmy could
There's
knock
a reason
that down
I'm
with
in
a butter
the
knife and a
studio
fork.
and you're in your house because we got a better connection.
Now, where is Mr. G surfing yet? Where are we with that?
Oh, that's done.
He might not have made it. I don't know.
He's gone.
I think he's gone. I think a shark ate him.
I think that's fine.
John, Jimmy
Click
could
on
take
that video.
John, Jimmy could take that tree down with a butter knife and a fork, especially if you promised him a hot dog.
I want to send Jimmy loose in the Everglades with 2 machetes. Just let him carve a path.
Put a hot dog at the other end. With everything on it.
Hot dog and a
He'll
beer.
cut through that shit like a motherfucker. He could do it with a fork and a butter knife. He'll cut
Yep.
through that.
Tyler, can you
Take this
focus us
shit
on
much
the
longer.
scene?
Focus you on what?
I can't take this. I can't take this much.
I think he.
Jimmy, we see you. I see Jimmy.
I want to see Mr. G. I think he's in trouble out there.
Well, don't they got lifeguards over there in Jersey, John?
Yeah, and everyone's filming.
Yeah, that's why he looks like a
That's
dot.
good.
So,
He looks
so
like a dot.
what? Yeah, why didn't they go
Let me
save
ask
his
you a
life?
question. Let me ask you a fucker. What are we supposed to be looking at? A dot in the ocean. What the fuck is he doing? Can you explain that to me, please? I'm standing there. I'm looking at an ocean line over there. What the fuck are we looking at? A dot bobbing around in the middle of the ocean.
Let's see your abs instead.
What makes him think that from a mile away we're going to be able to see what he's doing? And that's even crazier.
He's not smart.
Got a boy, Jimmy. Jimmy, you need a hot dog.
Need a hot dog.
Jimmy,
Fucking hot
hold on,
dog.
Jimmy. I got look.
I'm going after this fucking show, going home to barbecue and everything. I'll take a
Awesome.
I got an assignment for you, Jimmy.
My toothbrush lifeguard help you. Thank you.
You're alive. Hold on. I got an assignment for Jimmy. I want
the
you to.
assignment?
Can you hear me, Jimmy?
Oh, we made it back?
Yeah, Jimmy. Can you hear me?
George,
Yeah.
can I say something to George? George, this was fair. Whatever you thought it was, I can hear you.
Okay. I want you to do. Jimmy, listen. I want you to do an impression of the guy who did the impression of you now.
Oh, you want me to do an impression of that?
Yeah, I want you to reenact that same scene that the guy did of you, only you doing it of him doing it of you.
With a weed whacker.
The weed
He's gonna
whacker
have to
scene.
turn the phone sideways, no?
Yeah, it would be nice if you turned the phone sideways, but
Past that.
Greg,
No,
don't
don't.
give too many technical things.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
I know
yeah.
he might.
Do not push it.
We might lose him.
We'll lose. Exactly. It's too technical.
Hold on, John. I had to get my
On a podcast TV show.
Justin, can you?
Do a stunt.
You're an actor. Do the act it out.
Like, yeah, it's like a bunch of ex-competitive bodybuilders go RxMuscle.
Just show us your abs.
I know, so if you see some lunatic out there, it was me. Mr. G's my name.
Mr. G.
Hey,
All right.
Jimmy's up to something.
Jimmy,
I think
can
he's
you do
eating a
the
hot dog.
impression or no?
You ready?
Jimmy, can you do it? I guess Jimmy's not going to do it. This is what happens when they don't go. They think that they're too good to go into a house and do this. Mr. G thinks he's in Rocky 4. He's doing the flag scene from Rocky 4.
This is the worst internet show ever.
Yeah, maybe we should just hang up on. Maybe we should hang up on Mr. G. You know, and Jimmy, are you gonna talk?
Jesus Christ!
Where he is.
All right, I got to hang up on these guys because they're you know what, they're gonna get insulted, but it's irritating me.
Yeah, I agree. I'll second that.
Jimmy, I'm gonna hang up on you. I know you're gonna be upset, but I can't hear you. Your internet connection is terrible. You call us back when you get a better connection. Hang up on him.
Call Elon Musk.
Hey,
I
John,
can't. You're ruining my show.
You remember in the 1970s when you had the little radios, the little ones, you with the AM, you fucking, you can't get the fucking, you're trying to get the fucking thing in there, the channel in there, and you hear like,
That's how I used to listen to the Yankees.
Me too. Me too.
Yep. With that little radio up by my
ear. Rangers. Yeah, the little fucking radio, a little dial and shit.
You had to hold it up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It only had AM. You remember? It was like fucking
only AM. Do you remember the crystal radios? Do you remember those? The kit that you used to buy at Toys R Us, and you put the crystal radio together. It had a little crystal diode in there.
Oh, yeah.
You used to get radio station with no batteries.
That shit was so cool.
Yeah, I do remember that shit.
That's ancient.
TSW, bro. Yeah, I remember that.
That's ancient. So what happened to you last week?
Oh, me? I fell asleep because I got my middle finger. I had a bad shot. I had a cortisone shot in my finger. It's fucked me up. Really bad.
What do you need a
couple
cortisone shot in your finger for?
John, you know how he gives everyone, you know the famous Gregg shot with the finger sticking out the middle finger? It got stuck like that. How come I'm not on the screen?
I actually had
it got stuck like this, and then he felt bad walking around with his middle finger up like this, so they had to give him a cortisone shot right there to release it. So now the other fingers are working.
That's what it is. No, I actually had trigger finger first, and then they shot it about 2 years ago, and then it came back, but I couldn't close my hand. Dave's right. I actually couldn't close my hand, so my middle finger was like this.
Makes it hard to jerk off.
Oh, bro, and the pain was throbbing. My finger was like a sausage, It was like, it was unbelievable. It was
Greg,
bad.
it sounds like getting old is starting to get cumbersome, for you.
Oh, yeah.
He's got cancer. He's got COVID. Oh, he didn't get COVID. He had cancer. He's got trigger finger. What else is going on with you, Greg?
I got diarrhea. You know what I mean? No, I'm just.
You always had diarrhea.
You need Fiberlize.
Yeah.
Fiberlize. I do take the Fiberlize.
Man, that shit's a miracle right there, the Fiberlize.
Yeah, John's been very happy with it lately.
Happy as hell. Happy as a pig in shit.
John, if you're truly happy, you'll be like me, and you'll carry toilet paper in your sock. Until you start doing that, I don't believe it.
No, well, you gotta no, because it keeps you regular, and you don't even need toilet paper if you use Fiberlize.
That's right. That's the key.
That's it, man. I'm gonna save a fortune right there.
No, I do. I take the Fiberlize.
That Scott 1000 sheets is gonna last me 2 fucking years. Watch.
Not me.
That's why I can't believe everyone's stealing all the toilet paper from the store, because I was wondering why. I'm like, you don't even need it. One square I use.
I don't need toilet paper.
Are they still doing that though?
It's not as bad anymore, but I'm sure it's
not as bad.
It's bound. You know what you can't buy now? You can't buy a fucking freezer now. I'm trying to buy a freezer online. My freezer in my garage went out. I want a full-size freezer. I can't buy a freezer anywhere. 8 to 12 weeks.
Wow.
Holy shit.
What about Goya Foods?
I buy that all the time. My girlfriend's Mexican. Dude, nobody's gonna fucking.
Why are there no freezers, John?
Nobody's boycotting that shit.
Why are there no freezers?
Saison in the store.
There are no freezers anywhere. How come everyone?
Because the factories are missing so many workers because of this COVID bullshit.
That's what. No, they're putting the COVID patients in the freezer.
There you go.
That's probably what's happening.
Because they're not in the freezer trucks that Cuomo ordered in the city. They're not in there. They're empty.
Yeah, no, let's not even get a Cuomo. I hate that motherfucker. You know what I mean? They build a fucking Trump builds the Jacob Javits Center into a fucking hospital. He builds the Intrepid into a hospital, but it's his fault that people get COVID because stupid Cuomo sends fucking the old people back into fucking nursing homes
instead of COVID patients to the nursing homes.
That's what I said. He sends the COVID patients into the nursing home, but John, meanwhile, You got the Jacob Javits Center had 40 fucking people. 40. That's it. And the Jacob Javits Center.
And the boat was empty.
That's ridiculous.
Yep.
I don't know what.
Meanwhile, 170,000 people died of drug overdoses so far.
Yeah, but wait a minute, John. You know what the truth is? The truth is this, and this is a fact. My friend is a top doctor on the front line of this shit, and I'm telling you right now, what happens is let's say you're in a hospital, okay, and you get the COVID, right? You're in the hospital. They test you like every day to every other day until they won't release you until you get a negative test, right? So you got to get a negative test for them to release you. So you could be in there for like 2 fucking weeks. And they test you every fucking day or every other day. And they count each one of those tests as a positive. You know, each time you test positive, that counts as a positive.
Wow.
They actually figure that in to the whole fucking thing. So when they say...
it's so corrupt.
I got a better one. People here in Cape Coral have been getting in the mail that they're positive for COVID and they never even got tested.
Yeah.
How about that? They're suing
How about
county.
that kid? The kid the other day crashes his motorcycle and dies.
Yeah.
From a motorcycle crash.
Right.
And they tested one of the pieces of him splattered on the road.
Dude, he was decapitated.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, he was killed at the motorcycle accident. He tested his corpse. Tested positive for COVID-19. They listed his death as COVID-19.
That's
bullshit,
crazy.
Bro. Dude, they stuck me in the COVID fucking unit when I got the throat thing done.
Listen, so I'm doodling here, and I realized, I'm like, this little doodle I made looks very familiar. I think I drew Dan Duchesne by accident. Look at that.
Did you?
Look at that.
Let me see.
Can you see that?
Hold up. I can't see it.
Hold on.
I just got Gregg. Now I got.
Well, your viewers can.
While you're on me, notice I have the Bobby Muscles Treninator shirt on.
Who is that? Hadi Shupin?
I thought that was Bobby Muscles.
Oh, it looks like Hadi Shupin.
Nah, the body don't look good.
Oh, I like
There
it.
you go.
It's good. They should make Jimmy.
It's Bobby Hackett.
They should, they should make Jimmy the Bull as the anadrolinator.
You know what? They are missing the boat there. Fucking Jimmy the Bull should be the spokesperson for the most aggravating agrovar freaking disposition-altering drug that there is.
But
He's freaking nuts.
like trenanadrol, a new
Straight-
drug, trenanadrol added together, right?
Yes.
Right? Jimmy the
Now-
Bull. You
You know
motherfuckers.
what would be cool as hell is if we got Jimmy and jacked him up on a Dianabol and an Anadrol a day for like 2 weeks, and then sent him to like Walmart or something, and just let him go fucking nuts.
No, send him to the DMV, John.
Oh, God.
Even better, with a couple of beers.
How about this?
With a couple of beers.
Send him and George to a Black Lives Matter fucking protest.
Oh, there you go.
No, George would be singing.
Anadrol and
George would be singing with all those guys. Are you kidding me? He would fit in perfectly there.
Nah, he'd be swinging that flag. You bring Bobby. Bring his brother Bobby there. Forget about it.
They would be They would take over the promotion. They'd be running the stage show.
The
for them.
fucking. That's what I'm saying. The Black Lives Matter people, they'd leave. They'd be like, I can't take this guy.
It don't matter.
Right. These two brothers, they're driving us crazy. We gotta get the fuck out of here. Let's go to the next block.
Greg, John and I were talking earlier in the show when we started about Robby Robinson that people like Sean Ray and Bob Chickarello
He's a
did.
liar.
Who's a liar?
Robbie's a fucking liar.
What about what?
Because Joe Weider was not a fucking racist, not even close.
You
You
don't
really
think so?
believe that Joe Weider said to him, "Listen, I flew you out here to tell you that I don't give contracts to blacks, and if you say I'm a fucking racist, nobody's gonna believe it because I'm Joe Weider. No way, no way did that happen.
That did not happen.
What do you
I
say
know
happened?
Joe Weider.
What do you say happened, Greg?
He said on that Generation Iron interview.
I didn't watch the whole thing. What do you say?
Okay, he said that Joe Weider flew him out in 1975.
Right.
Okay, now I know Joe Weider since 1979.
Yeah.
Okay, you've seen the pictures of me and him. But anyway, he said that Joe Weider flew him out there in 1975, right? And then he told him, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't give contracts to blacks. That ain't happening. And then he said, and if you tell people, nobody's going to believe you because I'm Joe Weider. And they're going to believe me over you.
I believe that's a true story. First of all, I don't.
No
see,
way.
I don't believe it. I do believe it. I'll tell you why. Because I think Joe was very transparent, and like John and I were saying, I think that was a business decision.
Well,
yeah, but I don't think he told Robby that.
I don't believe that, dude. He put Robby on the cover. I don't believe that shit at all. Robby was on the cover.
He used Robby to market bodybuilding, but he obviously wasn't paying Robby.
He was paying Robby. Robby was doing ads and everything else. That changed Robby's life. That whole fucking thing changed
was Robby
his life.
making money? We don't know. Did Robby make money? I don't know. He must have made something, I'm sure.
Of course he did. How did he eat and all that other shit? Unless he was doing a gay for pay like all the other fucking guys were doing.
He wasn't doing that.
I didn't say he was. I'm saying we know that he got money from Weider. I don't believe that.
The bottom line is...
Why would Robby lie about that? That's my question.
Dude, Robby bullshits a lot about a lot of shit. He was a weird guy. I know you know him too, Dave. Dave, I was there at Gold's Gym.
I don't know him that well.
I worked out. He was sitting in front of a fucking locker upstairs in his underwear and then just staring in the locker. I trained for like 3 hours. I went back upstairs. He was still sitting in the same spot, not talking to anybody, still staring in the locker.
Yeah, but his arms grew 2 inches while he was sitting there, probably.
So let me ask you this. Does anybody know of any job that Robby Robinson has held over the last 50 years?
No. I can tell you why. Listen to me. He's in his mid-70s. And now all of a sudden he's seeing all these young kids making money on YouTube and all this shit doing this stuff. And he feels like, I'm a legend. And they're making all this money and I'm not making money. So he gets the little sour grapes there because they don't want to work. At 70 fucking years old, you're not going to start, like a new career or shit, That's what I think. I think that he sees these young guys. They're making money. Bodybuilding's changed now.
But my point is, he never had to work a job in 50 years. He made money for bodybuilding. He did straight eat every day.
So he made money off you can't tell me that Weider did not give him money. He was in all the fucking...
That's what I'm saying.
He was in the ads with the bicep blaster. He was in the ads with the...
Greg, do we know how much he got? Maybe he was underpaid given the scale that some of these other guys were making. Maybe he was making less money per ad than, say, Arnold and Franco were making.
Yeah, but Arnold and Franco were fucking two different animals. Look, he even got into... I know Leon Brown. Well, all right, wait. How about that? I'm very good friends with Leon. Leon's never said anything about Joe Weider being a racist, and he tells me all the fucking stories.
But Leon Brown has no money either, so...
All right, but wait a minute. Yeah, but that's because Leon... Listen, Leon makes money. Leon made money he worked for the Housing Authority in New York City for 30 years. Yeah. But wait, listen. How about this? How about Sean Ray? Sean Ray will fucking throw, anybody under the bus. His mother, if he got mad at her. And I'm telling you, you never heard Sean Ray come out and say that Joe Weider's a racist, he fucked me out of money, or any of that shit. I don't believe it, because it's Sean Ray be the first one to tell it.
I don't think that Joe Weider is a racist. I think what John said earlier, you didn't hear, was that Joe Weider is a businessman.
Wait a minute, though. And then Robby said that Joe Weider was a racist.
Well, I think Robby interpreted it that way, because if Joe says, if Joe says that, a black man on the cover doesn't make me as much money as a white man on the cover, that is a business decision. That's not a racist decision.
Well, wait, but Dave, you and I and John, for Christ's sake, we've all been in this business so long.
But if Joe uses Robby's body as his likeness to make a bust that's put everywhere, all over the internet, all over the magazines and the ads and for his products, then Robby should be paid. And if Robby's not wasn't compensated because of that in a way that's equal to what the other white athletes were making, then that can be considered racism. Just like paying a woman less than a man can be considered sexist. So I see where Robby's coming from. I don't think Joe is an intentional racist. I think Joe realized that white bodybuilders were more marketable than black bodybuilders, but he still used Robby. So Robby should have been compensated, and so
you're twisting the story. Robby let that. First off, that's the truth. We don't know. I used to hear it was Clarence Ross and all this other shit. But wait, listen. If that's the truth, then Robby should have fucking pressed charge. But Robby's also doing the whole sickle cell anemia thing. I didn't take a lot of drugs because I was afraid of sickle cell anemia. That Robby's also saying that like the whole I need money shit, bro. The fucking I didn't pay for my operations. The government will pick that shit up. If you can't pay, the government will pick that up. He's not gonna die. I know what it is, bro. It's the same. He's the same. I get I get a lot of emails from guys who tell me Robby worked them for money. I'll send them to you, Dave. I don't want to.
Oh, I know. I've had people contact me that say that Robby that beat him for money. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean that we're Robby.
I know a lot of that. Even the whole thing with the women, supposedly was married. I don't know. We don't know for sure, so I'm not saying for sure. But the whole thing with him with married to 4 women at one time, none of them knew it, and all this thing. He's crazy. There's a guy just told a story on my video that I just did. He said, "Listen, I worked in a gym, and Robby was a guest there one time, and a girl left her fucking Walkman out on the. This is back a long time ago. A girl left her Walkman on the front desk. Robby went in, opened up the Walkman, took out the fucking batteries, put it in his Walkman, and walked away. And he said after...
I'm sure there's a million stories. People will badmouth anyone.
Well, I think you need to explain what a Walkman
is. Listen, I don't hate Robby Robinson. I'm just saying I don't believe any of that shit. You can't call the guy racist. He did a lot for fucking black bodybuilders. Leroy Colbert, who was around before Robby, always spoke great about Joe Weider. Always spoke great about Joe Weider.
I never heard anybody in this industry ever say that Joe Weider was a racist.
Never. Thank you. Only one guy, him. And I just think that he's got sour grapes, bro. Even all the shit he pulled on Instagram. I get it. Dave, I know that you think he's a legend, but I disagree with you with that. I don't give a shit if he's a legend. Like John said, you did one thing for the rest of your life. He hasn't competed in how many fucking years?
He's 74, Greg.
What's that?
He's 74. You want him to compete?
What do you want him to do?
No, I don't want him to compete. But what I'm saying is, no. You're missing the point. Like John said, 74, but what job has he ever held?
Right.
So what?
He's been taken care of his whole life.
What job have you held? What job have I held? We never. None of us worked a real job.
John.
Well, who paid him? Who?
I worked a real job. Fuck that.
How did Robby Robinson earn money for 50 years?
Wait, you know what, John? I heard he used to stay over people's houses. You know that. You know, because you were out there too. He used to stay at people's houses and that kind of shit. Wear out the welcome, meet some girl. You know what I mean? Stay with her for a while till he fucking,
So you're saying he was on the hustle for 50 years?
People pay him for training too. I know that for a fact. Yeah, he still, does he'll train people at Golds in Venice, or he'll do people's diets and stuff like that. So I mean, he probably doesn't have a lot of clients, but he has people that think he's a legend. They want to hang out with him for a week or whatever. They'll go to Venice and it's like the Robby Robinson experience. Now look. I don't know if Robby is a good guy or not. I only know I interviewed him once, or twice. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying that I am sure that he probably experienced racism coming up through the 60s and 70s, growing up in the South. I don't think that Joe Weider was a racist, because if he was a racist, he wouldn't have used black bodybuilders at all. He was a businessman. But having said that, I think that Joe took advantage of people that were not business savvy, and Robby probably wasn't. Whereas guys like Arnold and Franco and Zane probably were way more business savvy, and they would never work for as little as Robby did. So Robby probably took that as, hey, this guy's taking advantage of me because I'm black. Now, I don't think that's the case. However, I think that Robby probably was the victim of not getting placings he should have early in the 60s and 70s because of his color. I think that, and then the business opportunities to make money were not there.
I don't think it's his color. First of all, he hit certain poses. He used to say he used to scare the judges because he would never smile. He looked like a fucking lion. But I'll tell you the other thing that you used to hear about Robby all the time, okay? And that was that Robby never changed. What Robby looked like in the gym is what Robby looked like on stage. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But he also beat Danny Padilla and all that, for the Night of the Champions 2 times in a row. I don't feel like he was. I feel like Robby is a legend. I think Robby's placed where he should have placed. I don't see where, oh my God, Robby should have beat that guy. I mean, he did pretty fucking well.
No, he did well. And I'm talking about the later part of career. I'm not talking about the early part of his career, Greg.
But he won the fucking later part. He won the Masters Olympia. Not bad for fucking somebody who has been racist against, I just don't think it's fair to say, because Joe Weider, there would be so many fuck you Joe Weider stories out there, and there's nothing but good Joe Weider stories.
It's a business. I don't think it was a racist thing, Greg. I think it was with Joe. It was a business thing. Joe was a very slick businessman, and he would extract as much out of people as he could, and that was his job. I
understand that.
I don't blame him for that. I don't think that.
And Joe enjoyed the chess game. If you were trying to play him, he enjoyed playing you back, like the Arnold Franco.
I'm sure Louis Ferrigno got more money out of Joe than he ever wanted to spend, because Lou and his wife were tough business, people.
That's right.
But
that's right.
Joe wanted Lou, and look, there was a bidding war. Vince McMahon won, and then Joe got him back somehow. All right, so
I gotta say one thing. I was there. I was 5 feet away. Almost got hit in the fucking head. Okay, when Vince McMahon had a fight with fucking Jim Mannion, I was there with a fist fight. Mike Quinn jumped. I was with Bob Bonham and Mike Quinn and myself. And Mike Quinn jumped on top of fucking, like, in front with Steve Weinberger. And they had, let me tell you something. Vince McMahon stood up at the table. We were all at dinner table. Vince McMahon stood up and just stood there. And I'm telling you, you had to hold Jim Mannion. I never seen him that mad in my fucking life.
Really?
You had to hold him. Dude, ask. You know what I'm saying, guys. Ask. I was right there.
What was it about, though, Greg?
What were you doing there?
I was at a post-Olympia party. It was in New York. It was like 1990 or whatever. It was all when that WBF shit hit. Because for a while, they were all buddies. Remember, like the fucking, what's his name? McMahon was trying to come in with them, but then broke away and started his own shit.
Right.
And that's when Mannion lost his temper, okay? And I'm telling you, I was there. Weinberger and then Quinn jumped on top of him. Literally had to hold him back. He was insane. He was ready to kill. Fucking, they had to hold him back. I would have thought you would have had to hold back McMahon, but no, McMahon just stood there. He was ready to. I think if something would have happened, he was ready to go. But I got to be honest with you, Jim Mannion, if you would have let him go, he would have been all over fucking McMahon throwing haymakers. He would have.
Yeah, Jim was a tough guy back in the day. Guys don't know that. Jim was a real tough guy, street guy.
I think Jim knocked out Ken Sprague over that fucking Ken Sprague getting the Gold's Gym because Jim Mannion wanted it. And fucking, I think Jimmy knocked him out. I think he knocked out Ken Sprague. Yeah, something like that. I know he hit him. I know he punched him. I don't know if he knocked him out, but I know he punched him. And I'm sitting here saying this shit on RX. If it wasn't true, I'd be,
So
what I mean?
What got Jim Mannion so excited at that dinner, though?
I don't know we were all, I was right there at the table, okay? Right. Joe Weider was there. They were all there. And we were all talking. Me, Mike Quinn, and Bob Bonham. And then sitting right there was Weinberger. We talked a little bit with him, but he was right there. Now, all of a sudden, we noticed this commotion. I see fucking Mannion, fucking, like son of a bitch, like this, got up off the table and started going after him. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And dude, Quinn, jumped, knocked me like fucking 10 feet because he dove on top of fucking Jim to hold him back. Jim. And Weinberger was holding him back. And what's his name stood there and he did one of these on his clothes, and he just stood there like this. I'm talking about McMahon.
Yeah.
There was a whole table full of people, all IFBB people, everything. And that you could ask Weinberger about that. Ask him about the time. I was right to do it. I was standing there. I was I wasn't part of the conversation.
You ever notice, John, that Greg is always he's like Forrest Gump almost. He's always in every historically significant bodybuilding episode. Greg somehow is in the backdrop or something like that, or he's at the table.
Dude, I'm in that Gold's Gym picture. You can't take any of that shit away from me. I'm there.
Nope, you're there.
I'm there. I was there.
Dude, your cell phone.
How could I dude, I'm sitting here saying this shit.
You waited 60 years to tell us that story?
What's that?
You waited 60 years to tell us that story?
No, because I know so much other shit. You forget about that until you bring it up.
That's a good story.
Trigger. You listen. When you get off this thing, you call up your friends with Weinberger. Call them up. Say, I heard that Jim Mannion.
I don't have any doubt that you're telling the truth. I mean, why would you? You don't lie. You're not a liar.
Ask Mike Quinn. We were talking. We were all in
the gotta ask anybody. We asked you.
Mike Quinn, someone must know the real story. What happened? That's the only thing I'd like to find out.
We weren't listening to the we were all just, everybody says that people were
right. But you didn't ask anyone afterwards, Greg. What the hell happened?
No, it was something to do with all that IFBB shit.
Okay,
I think Mannion knew at that time. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Okay, listen to me though. Listen, I think Mannion that's the first time. Like I told you, McMahon was starting to hang out and starting to talk to all the bodybuilders and stuff. And I think that Mannion. It's the first time Mannion got wind of it. It was almost like, what's this fucking piece of shit doing at the table? Something like that kind of deal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want him here. I don't want him here. You shouldn't be here. What are you doing? You know, like that kind of shit. You're talking to the fucking, guys and shit. Go find your own people. That kind of shit. It was something. It was something like that.
Gotcha.
It was something. It was before the WNBF or whatever the fuck that was.
WBF.
It was before that. Right.
All right.
Dude, by the way, I was at that first show that they had, which I thought sucked. You know, it was in Atlantic City, at fucking the Taj Mahal in Atlantic City, and fucking what's his name was there? Donald Trump was there with Marlon Maples.
Wow.
So I met him the first time.
And I bet you were sitting at the same table as him too, right?
What's that?
Were you sitting at the same table as Donald Trump?
No, I wasn't.
I heard that Gregg was at the same table, John, and he actually told Trump, you know what, I think you should run for president.
He was 5 feet away. He was 5 feet away when
if it wasn't for me, he never would have ran for president.
Right, exactly. There you go.
Actually, Gregg was at a table with Bleckman right next to the table with Trump and Marlon Maples. That's really what it was.
Well, see, now, you would never had that situation if Mannion was Bleckman, because Bleckman would be walking around a table giving all the guys his shoulders stuff. So he wouldn't have been privy to the
Vince,
conversation.
you got some good traps here. I didn't realize how big they were.
Wait,
how was your steak? Do you need another one? You want
I got to tell you something. I have a picture of this, too. The most amazing thing that I was at in bodybuilding was I was sitting with... remember when we were all eating, Triple H was there? I was sitting next to Dave, and Dave was eating a whole shitload of pasta. I got a picture of Dave like this.
Jimmy, are you there?
I was with you. We were with John. I think John was there. Remember when we all went to that after thing with Triple H?
That was the first dinner. That was the first dinner when we were left muscular development. We were... RxMuscle, Triple H took us to dinner.
No. It's just when Triple H was with us at the fucking, at the MD table at the Arnold Classic. And we all went to dinner. Because I was sitting right in between it. Dave was sitting there. I was like, Dave's fucking eating look at he was eating like ziti's or whatever the hell it was.
Well, I'm not allowed to eat pasta?
Yeah.
I'm Italian.
But you're the Godfather or like
I wasn't doing a show, though.
I know.
But then the next
Don't
year...
get mad. I'm making a joke out of this.
I was
sitting there like,
I'm breaking
holy
your
shit,
balls.
Dave's eating pasta.
So, Dave.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
I traveled 7 miles to another location so I could fucking get back on the show.
Great. I'm glad. Now that the show's on, I'm about to wrap it up.
So it's over. Your timing...
I know.
All right, Jimmy, before we go, take us out. I know you're upset about something. Who's breaking your balls today?
What I wanted to say earlier, before I had a shitty internet connection, I don't know what the fuck. I was out of school. I thought I'd have a good connection out of high school, but obviously I didn't. But so what happened was I was out to dinner last night, my brother, and I get a phone call at 8 o'clock. The fucking the trap downstairs blew up, and it just flooded the basement. I had to go back to the house, the toilet, the tub, the shower, everything was all shit all over the place. I had to call the citywide. I was doing this shit till 12 o'clock at night last night. I was flipping out. And then I had to pay the guy. Now I got a carpet guy coming today. I got to clean the carpet. That's going to cost me another $300-400. I can't get a break, bro. I can't get a break.
You're like
all I wanted was I wanted a peaceful fucking dinner. That's all I wanted.
in your old age, you've essentially become Rodney Dangerfield. You get no respect.
I got no respect.
But you have abs.
All I want to do is come on the show. I want to bullshit, have a good time, and I can't. The internet connection was for shit before over there. You couldn't hear me, right? When you asked me to imitate that guy, I had a big ass branch in my hand like a weed whacker. I was gonna do the whole fucking thing.
All right, here we go.
Man.
All right, here's your chance. I'm wrapping the show up. Take us out. Do an imitation of the guy imitating you.
You can hear me now.
We can hear you now. Take us out.
All right, good. Yeah. So this is what I saw. I love that guy. I wanted to get a hold of him and thank him, but you never answer the phone. So the guy says, "All right, this is the president of Jimmy the Bull. I'm gonna cut you weed. You want your weeds cut? You cocksucker weeds, hey motherfucker! I'm gonna cut your fucking weeds out, you fucking cocksucker! Don't fuck you, you motherfucker!" I love I laughed for an hour and a half. I was in a fucking really bad mood when you sent me that video. Huh?
Did you just punch your truck?
Yeah, I did. I hurt my hand, actually.
I think, Jimmy, John, I think the guy's impression of Jimmy is better than Jimmy's impression of Jimmy.
Yeah, I think it was. I tell you the truth, I was watching it, I thought that myself. I said, this guy's great. You know?
I think rather than end the show with Jimmy, let's end the show with the guy in imitating Jimmy. Here we go. Play that, Tyler.
That's a good
clip
idea.
one more
Let's
time.
do it.
All right, here we go. Hold on.
Okay. This is my Jimmy the Bull impression. You want your fucking weeds cut? You want you cocksucking motherfucker? You want your fucking weeds?
Ha ha ha!